Welcome to the back office. I'm Dalayna Dillon, the founder and creative director at Signify Marketing, and this is where you sit in on real strategy. This month is a special month for us at Signify because we're celebrating 5 years in business. And so I'm excited to bring you conversations with business owners who are building, learning, and figuring it out just like I have been for the last 5 years. So today's episode looks a little different. We kind of do this once a month. Instead of a traditional interview, I invited Brad Buchert to sit in as my co-host for a strategy session. So today we're going to be talking all about a question that sounds really simple, but honestly causes a lot of confusion. What is marketing?
Ooh.
I'm sure you've had this question a million
Can you
times.
feel the shiver that just went down my spine as you said that? It's a lot.
Exactly. Well, some people, in their mind, it means social media. Some people, it means ads, logos, posting content. They all have kind of a different context, but real marketing is much bigger than that. And so today, Brad Buchert and I are breaking down what marketing actually is, what most businesses misunderstand about it, and why strong marketing is not just one tactic, but it's an alignment of many things that make it work together. So, Brad, first of all, welcome to the back office.
Thank you.
To let everyone in on who you are, where you're from, all these things, tell us a little bit about yourself and your history, because you have a long history in the marketing field.
Are you saying I'm old? My
Well,
long history? Like, how long is my history, Dalayna?
You had a lot of experience in your short 29 years.
Well, man, check is in the mail for that one. No, thank you for having me on. Really do appreciate it. Dalayna and I have worked together several times on and off over the years. So she had mentioned, also thank you for pronouncing my last name correctly.
Obviously, I've worked,
Yeah.
I've
It's
heard
not
it
an easy
butchered.
one. Not an easy one. Yeah. Me too,
Butchered.
several times. Background, started right out of school working for large brokerages, usually in the commercial print area. And then they were transitioning into, true marketing, which that's a part of marketing.
Yeah.
As you've alluded to, and we'll jump way deeper into that topic. But, they were transitioning into that because you couldn't just be a printer. Right. This was in the 90s, and that will date me, but in the 90s and early 2000s, but very large companies, right? And so through that, I saw all sides of the business, the sourcing piece, the actual account management as well, which is something that I kind of grew into more and more. Is I would go take over a client, take over their spend, and then build a team around that could effectively save them money, and then obviously make us money too. So I did that for about 10 years. And then went to another brokerage, same thing, a little bit more advanced. They were as far as their evolution into the marketing aspect, and kind of saw a little bit more of what they were doing. And this was really, the social media marketing was really taking off at this time. It was around, right? But people realize what your return is. Again, something we'll probably talk about, for a relatively low cost.
Right.
So did that. And then I got that entrepreneurial bug, and started just opening every time someone had a great idea. It's like, all right, we need a business behind that. We got to let's go form an LLC. Let's do this thing. Right. So School of Hard Knocks, learned a lot of things to do, a lot of things not to do, some successes, some failures for sure. But one of the biggest things, let's bring this full circle, right? And now telehealth. We're in telehealth now. So a couple of years into that, and it's fun. It's definitely growing. It's only been around for about 25 years, believe that or not. But you had mentioned marketing, and it's this massive term, right? And a lot of people still don't understand. I know me, even being in and around the industry, you still don't get it because you're siloed, right? Like I was a print buyer at the beginning of my career,
right? Which that was, like you said, that was marketing.
Yes. Think newspapers were, and direct mail. Surprisingly, those things are still around, and actually seeing somewhat of a comeback. But going back to the term, right? It's all the things you mentioned. To me, marketing is this overarching theme, this overarching term, right? And everything you said is that all your tactics are a part of that, but also, branding,
Right.
I consider sales a part of marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing's out here. Sales is just
Yeah.
how are you reaching them, right? How are you maintaining a consistent brand? That's part of marketing. All of those pieces all feed into what is marketing. That's why you've got a CMO, right, in
Yes.
a company.
Yes.
And most successful companies have a very good CMO.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and what you were mentioning about how sales is a part of marketing, I think that's probably one of the biggest um misses that a lot
Mhm.
of businesses have because they try to disconnect those. And that's when you have a lot of is it discontinuity? What's the opposite of continuity?
I think you got it. Discontinuity, inconsistency. Let's do
Inconsistency.
that. Let's go that way. Yeah.
Then you have a lot of inconsistencies. And also, oh, this is like a soapbox for me. You don't even know if your marketing's being successful if you're not tying in the sales piece to see how are they connecting, you know?
Right.
I
And
think that's a huge
analytics,
miss.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
that was especially early on. We're going to jump all over, I
Yeah.
would assume,
Yeah.
because that's
This
what
is
I do.
marketing.
Yeah, yeah,
What'd you
that's what we do.
do?
But so that connection is key. I think analytics,
Hmm.
right? So early on, marketing as a whole, right? Think Mad Men.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it was huge. They spent a ton of money,
Hmm.
but they were telling the customer, this is what you've got to have, this is what you need, go get it. If you don't, you're not cool or you're lesser than, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the theme of the day was. But they really didn't have analytics behind if the marketing was working besides
Right.
sales,
Right.
right?
Right.
If sales are working, if sales are up, marketing is obviously working,
Right.
right? And if sales are down, oh,
Something wrong with marketing.
right? Not necessarily the case, but that is really
Yeah.
the view, and that
Yeah.
view is continued and really
Continued.
is still out there,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Very much so.
The
Very much
great
so.
thing, and working with you, you're very very good at this. Is how do you tie the analytics to it? How are you able to track?
Hmm.
Right, that's really key for a business owner or a
Yeah.
CFO
Yeah.
in making those decisions, because you're going to have to prove that this is worth the money,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
sometimes you're going to have to go out on a limb before you can run those analytics and know that something's working or track it back to where those sales are coming from.
Yeah.
Um, I think something to mention here, as we both have that entrepreneurial spirit, we've been a part of small startups. I've been a part of very large companies. I'm not sure if you have or not. I would assume probably so. Um, Startups, if you are not giving yourself a line item and a substantial marketing budget, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
as you're trying to put together what's your what does that line look like for you
Hmm.
on your pro forma?
Hmm.
Make sure you're including it.
Yeah.
Make sure you have the money for it.
Yeah.
Look into it. Actually explore and see what it's going to cost
Hmm.
before doing this. Because if you go in and you can't pull sales in, or you don't have an existing market
Hmm.
or a network that is just beating down your door, a lot of startups fail because of that.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've done
Yeah.
it. In fact, I've done
Yeah.
this. So
Well, I actually shared about this. It's been some time, but I kind of did a little emphasis on this on the socials because 100% people think, oh, well, you have to pay for, line items wise, you have to pay for electricity and water and employees. And before they know it, all of their revenue is going towards that. And they're like, well, whenever I am making more, I will
yes.
start doing marketing.
Yep. Horrible mistake.
Yes, because oh man, yeah, because then you're wanting to get all of this success, but you're actually not even setting yourself up for success. Because it's not that people don't, I say this a lot of times, it's not that people don't want to support you.
Right.
It's not that they don't want your product. It's that they don't know about you.
Yep.
They don't know what
Exactly
you
right.
do.
Oh, you very well said. And let me ask you a question. Like, when okay, if there's a downturn in revenue or
Hmm.
sales go down,
Hmm.
what are the first areas that are cut?
100% marketing.
Every
It's
time.
gone. It's
Every
gone.
time. Mistake.
Yeah.
Now I can see if you're in dire straits and you're trying to save a company, but even then, what brings, unless you've got just a crazy good sales staff, which if you did, probably wouldn't be in the situation. So, again, a mistake that
Yeah.
I've seen and I've made. I've
Yeah.
made this mistake because it's easy to make,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to figure out, okay, is there more economical ways we can get some fast wins
Yep.
whenever you're in a strapped season?
Yep.
Like, what are some fast wins? There are things that you can do for marketing that are low cost or no cost, but they're not honestly, they take more hustle, they take
Yep.
more legwork, but you can do them. And I think you should do those with your
Absolutely.
budget. Always do all
Yes.
of it. But you're
It's
like,
it
what's the most important thing? All of it's important.
I think you're and in school, it was called marketing mix. For school for me was a long, long time ago.
And you
But
didn't even mention you're very proud, Arkansas.
I am. Hey, Walton College of Business right here. So we have given that school a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I can say that. No, I think that as you're looking at your marketing mix, right, Dalayna, you just mentioned that the balance and the way that you're combining those tactics, right? And you also mentioned there's some things that can spike. You
Mhm.
need something
Mhm.
fast,
Mhm.
right? There's usually going to be a give and take, right?
Yeah.
Because if you see that, those probably aren't going to be long term, or
Right.
sometimes,
Right.
right?
Right.
Versus some other tactics. Again, we're going to talk about tactics. Some other tactics that um, are a long time or a long term play,
Right.
but
Right.
very, very prominent, and you really just can't go without them,
Right.
right? But the mix of what you're doing, a tactic mix,
Yeah.
is really kind of key,
Mhm.
and that's going to be different for every type of business,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So
100%. So when you mentioned, how when funding is down, marketing gets cut, I can attest, like probably the most realistic thing I can attest to this that affected me personally was
Mhm.
I was working with it was a global company, so they have a global presence, but a lot of their budget was going off of government grants,
Mhm.
and I think so. This is reflecting back. I mentioned in the intro that it's 5 years of business. So, this time I've like been reflecting on all of my like failures, not
Sure.
failures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hate using that word, but yes, things I could have done
There you
differently.
go.
And successes. And one of them was because this business, they were wanting and paying for a lot of my attention and
Yep.
effort and time, a lot of time. But I think, so, if someone's wanting to bring you in that capacity, you're like, okay. And when you know that they're getting government grants, you're like, okay, there's money coming
Yes.
because that's a good sign.
Yep.
If you didn't know, if someone tells you they want to work with you and they're getting government funding, you're like, hi.
Yeah, their pockets are not gonna get thin quickly,
Right.
or we'll see
But
where this story's
yeah,
going.
no,
Yeah.
but they brought me on a large capacity, so that meant I gave them more of my attention. And then when their government fund, first of all, there were some other complications that they were a good example of like people who are always shifting the target.
Mm.
And so, like, honestly, this is not an exaggeration, and it's not to give them shade. This is just the way, honestly, kind of personalities were at play here, and whatever. They
Yeah.
can do whatever they want. But like every
By the
single
way, running a
week,
business is hard.
it is
And I
hard.
don't know if you guys know
Yes,
that out there, but
it's
yeah,
hard.
for sure.
I mean, I could from Friday to Monday, I could come in and find out we're going a completely,
Yeah.
not a little, like
Yeah.
I'm saying, not even a little different direction, like a completely different direction. And so I, on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, was recalculating, okay, this is the messaging, this is the target. So how are we going to reframe the campaign that I was building to match that? But what I will say, so they did run out of government, their contract had ended.
Sure.
They didn't have to tell me that, and they did not tell me that.
Oh.
And so
Whoops.
it got to a point where they were waiting on the next contract.
Mhm.
And so the first thing they cut was, well, I'll say they were very kind. They cut their own salaries as well, but they cut my services, which is
Sure.
fine. I mean, that's kind of the nature of being what I do. Like, people, they're not going to stay with you forever necessarily, because different seasons of business. But it was very quick, and also I had dedicated so much of my time. I'd brought in other people to handle other accounts because they were needing so much attention. And so, while for me, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that again in that same way. Like, I'll restructure it in the way that I would do that. But my point in saying that is that was a huge chunk that they were like, we can immediately get rid of that, because they actually had a CMO.
Right.
And they were still having me come in, but
And function almost like a CMO as well, but they already had one.
correct.
Yeah.
So but that just shows you all sizes of businesses, all kinds of businesses face that same temptation, or sometimes you just have to make some
Yeah.
changes. But
I
yeah.
saw the same thing, actually just the reverse. So I had a colleague, part of my long-term network, that took over a company
Hmm.
and was immediately tasked with finding more efficient ways to use the money, right?
Hmm.
Very old company. The
Hmm.
company had been around since 1939, right? So they came in and they let their CMO go. And I got a call and said, come be this, but not,
Yeah.
right? So for way less than what they were paying a CMO, we were able to consult and use stuff for them. And that worked. But going to the other part of that same story is, you mentioned early on, and I think you said this, but marketing is really your strategy,
Right.
right?
Right.
Marketing as a whole is your strategy, and all these
Yes.
other pieces need to flow into that
Mhm.
strategy. Now, it's okay to change the path of those tactics,
Yeah.
but it is not okay to change your marketing strategy
No.
weekly. Don't
No.
do that.
It's done. Like,
Eh,
you're shooting yourself in the foot every single week.
yes. And in fact, a really strong person to have on the team, whatever your leadership team is
Hmm.
someone that can take a step back, not really be phased
Hmm.
by the up and down, which
Yeah.
we will all see,
Yeah.
but okay, step back and maintain that strategy. Make the small adjustments
Hmm.
with their team,
Hmm.
make the adjustments, but still stand strong on that strategy, because that strategy should have taken a lot of time,
Yeah.
a lot of effort, a lot of resources, honestly, to put in place. And if you've taken all that time and everything to go through that and put this in place, you've got buy-in by all the key stakeholders. Don't just give up on it, on that. You just
Right.
don't. You just
Right.
that's a big mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. You can make some tweaks, but yeah, it can and sometimes you can't even see it play out because
Mhm.
you've changed it too early.
Yep.
So I'll get your take on this. Hopefully you won't think less of me for telling you this, for
Oh
admitting
boy.
this.
Uh-oh.
But I am a watcher, a viewer
Okay.
of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh my. Okay.
Okay, don't let that taint your view of me.
Got it. Got it. I'm with you though. I'm gonna keep all that back
Okay.
here. We're good.
So I think there was something that happened. So first of all, one of the ladies on there, she is she, I don't know what she currently is, but basically she has worked with massive companies like Netflix, like I forget the other. There was a couple like top ones, but she also did this, which you would love if you've never watched this TV show. You would love this TV show. Um, she has a TV show with Jimmy
Fallon?
Fallon. Is that right? I'm getting fact checked behind the camera. Okay, called The Brand. What's it called? She's gonna look it up. But you would love it. So basically it's like a competition show where you go and you make pitches.
I think
Her name is Bose. What's it called? On
okay.
Brand.
I think I've
You've got to watch
seen.
it.
I think I've seen. Not. I haven't watched it, but I've seen trailers for this or
You
that
would
kind of
love
stuff.
it.
Hmm.
You would love it. So, anyways, that's who I'm talking about. It was funny. So she said in the reunion, she was talking about to Andy Cohen, who made a face like in disagreement with her. She was saying that how a lot of businesses, because she has been a CMO, she's worked with a lot of people. A lot of CMOs don't have a long tenure because she was getting, some gossip and stuff about her not staying anywhere very long.
Hmm.
And so she explained on her social media, which I thought it had some good insight, but I want to hear what you think about this. She explained that some large, high producing, high capacity CMOs, a lot of times they don't necessarily stay for super long, like 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Because a lot of times they are brought in to do a specific thing to
Yes.
get the company over whatever lull they're in. And then they usually are out because anything that happens beyond that, they're going to get blamed. Marketing gets blamed for
Sure.
every failure.
Yep.
And so they get out, they mission accomplished and they get out. And so Andy Cohen like made a face like that's not true. But I was like, I think it might be true. I
Yeah.
think that they do get blamed and that
I
sounds
definitely.
realistic.
I definitely think they do. Excuse me, because, and the reason behind that, I've seen this,
Yeah.
is a lot of times your CEO or obviously COO, or members of the board, depending on where they come from,
Mhm.
are operators,
Yeah.
right? They're operational people. So, it's kind of easy to side with, well, operations, we haven't changed anything.
Right.
What did you do in marketing?
Yeah.
Right. going back to your story about her in particular,
Mhm.
a lot of times the CMO is brought in for, a major, I've seen this, but it's like, hey, we know that in 12 months, and in the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to go purchase, these other brands,
Yeah.
let's say.
Yeah.
I was in grocery for a long time. So, and it's very, I wouldn't say cutthroat,
Mhm.
but over the last 25 years, excuse me, over the last 25 years, they're just, the big ones are buying out the small ones.
Yeah.
Or the profitable ones are buying out the
Mhm.
less profitable. And when you can see, it's like, okay, we're about to go purchase. So it's a project. It's
Mhm.
it's a
Mhm.
very large, very complicated project, but we're going to go purchase this brand that has 1,200 locations, maybe not exactly on the same path from a marketing standpoint. Well, our CMO is for any number of reasons is ready to go out
Yeah.
or is looking at something else or whatever. Well, we need someone that's done this,
Right.
right? They know how to lead through
Yes.
this type
Yes.
of,
Yes.
let's call it project, a
Yeah.
very, very large
Yeah.
project, but still project. And then, but maybe this marketing person is really great at that and setting the stage for success.
Mhm.
But and a lot of times I've actually seen them go into that knowing it's like, hey, this is a 2 year,
Right.
2 to 3 year play
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
right? As a CMO, this is a 2 to 3 year play. I'm going to guide them through this, steady the ship, and then I'm going to move on,
Yeah.
or I'm going to be done. Because
Right.
a lot of times, depending on which these C-suite level people are getting younger and younger, which is amazing.
Exactly.
I used to love that when I was younger and younger, but now I'm actually getting to the age of I look like I should be there, right? More gray. But I think that's part of it is you will see that. And then the smallest thing, it's like, well, this person, their plan was
Mhm.
to be out in
Mhm.
18 months. So things are going, that's fine. We can
Yeah.
we can do that. We can move something else. That could be the right call,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Especially if they were upfront, like this is what I'm doing. Or again, if you're doing that and if this is going to dramatically shift your entire marketing
Mhm.
strategy,
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah.
that's a very, very large decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%. Well, I think that it is what you were saying. It's actually pretty wise. Like if you know you're going to be going through a specific shift or change or whatever, growth, whatever,
yep,
get someone in there that has done it before.
yep,
No shade to who's currently doing it, but like if
100%.
they've not walked through that before, at least get some consulting, with someone who's been there, done that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of strength there.
I kind of want to go back a little
Mhm.
bit because it
Can I
intrigued
can I stop
me.
for one second?
Yes.
You got a DJ board right here. Are we about to
Yes.
start just ricka ricka?
Well, I could make you sound like a robot. I could definitely do
I already sound like a robot. You're not gonna have to
that.
try hard. So sorry.
That's
I
hilarious.
hope you can come back to your point.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
I whenever you were talking about your beginning in
Mhm.
marketing, I want to hear what it was like being in the places you were in
Yeah.
as it transitioned from again, like you said, print marketing is still a thing.
Mhm.
It still might be a thing that you should be doing. I don't know. It depends on
Right.
where you're at, but where there was a huge shift on the inside view from that print marketing to, oh my goodness, I call it the wild, wild west of the internet,
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
social media,
Mhm.
and how that shifted everything that marketing
Yes.
did and looked like.
Yeah, I think it started with, and I am old enough to see like, okay, this big panic of, well, this just digital, all
Yeah,
encompassing digital. Let's call it
digital.
that, right?
Yep, yep.
So digital is coming, and it's the latest and greatest, and costs were coming down, and people were seeing some really good results, and so there was a panic
Hmm.
of 90% of our business is print.
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
we're so screwed.
yeah.
Right? So I saw that, and from upper level people that had been around for a long time,
Hmm.
but had only been around in print.
In print.
So you kind of saw a little bit of a panic phase, and then immediate, reactionary. We've got to put money into this. We've got to do this, which they did need to, but if they were a bit more strategic about it, probably would have been a little bit less rocky. But you get through the panic, and you're just like any business. If you have clients and they need, let's say you're focused on these services. Well, it's like someone wants, hey, can you do this? Depending on your size, it's like, yes, and figure it out.
Right.
Or no, but I can do it for you. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out and we'll put it in play. So I think a lot of that was what was happening.
Yeah. Just figuring it out as.
Or if the company was large enough, they would go and they would purchase, right? They go and say, okay, Signify is really well known for being here already, but they're early. They're only 5 years in.
Yeah.
So maybe because I'm $1 billion company, I can go and buy them and have not only their expertise and someone to guide us into this next area, but I'm going to get their portfolio of business as well.
Right.
And I can sell my products or whatever my core competencies are to them.
Yes.
So I saw some of that too, which both of the very large print brokerages, they did very well. It was rocky. I saw the rockiness, but they transitioned, and then both of them were actually eventually bought out by the largest in the world at that time. So those guys, really, really good job, because they made absolute tons of money. But they lived on, right? Their products, their services lived on even within the stratosphere of the new, very, very large companies.
Yeah.
So they did, though. And those companies only survived and got bigger because they did exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
They went and found Signify and said, okay, we know we've got to be in this area. Who's out there? What they did is cost benefit analysis. Like, how long would it take us to build out this entire department, which we know nothing about, by the way? How long would it take us to do that? Or how long would it take us to transition a new partner in? A lot of partnerships happen. So I've seen all those. And all of them put in my my experiences that I saw, all of them put so much emphasis on it that they were all successful, because they knew they had to be there. You had to be there. And by the way, you mentioned this, like, print is not dead.
No.
We have, let's see, it's been years now since, it's probably been 10 years since I left the grocery world. But I had one client that was spending about $56 million, just newspaper ads. Just newspaper ads.
Goodness.
Just newspaper ads.
That's crazy.
And that company went and bought their rival, and they quadrupled in size.
Yeah.
Right. So, even if you've got some savings from scale, I mean, they're spending $100 and change million on newspapers right now. So print going away, not seeing it. Not seeing it. Some industries wouldn't survive without it. Honestly.
Yeah, it is good. And maybe that might even be more overwhelming for people to be like, oh crap, I should be doing this too. And it's like, maybe, maybe. But I think that marketing has changed so much. Like, I've seen huge changes post COVID. Like, there's very few conversations that I have on this podcast that don't at some point bring in COVID, because it shifted so much in our world,
Absolutely.
in our culture, in business, and in marketing. It shifted so much. But marketing is like, I feel like it's so different in this, even the way you were describing it earlier about, like, how it originally was, of them telling you what you need and you've got to do this. But marketing now, it's obviously communication, but it's like holding someone's hand, guiding them through. It's so crazy how much it shifted.
I would take it a step further. You're nail on the head here. And this is what digital did, right? So that is what marketing was. Advertising, really. Think Mad Men.
Right.
And now, if you are not listening to your customer and doing what they say to some extent, right? Giving them what they need, what they want, instead of telling them, you can still kind of guide them, but that's where I think it has shifted. And I think a big reason for that is, like, back in the day, how could you really know your customer? Focus groups, having people fill out forms, tough and really tough to get that scale to really know them, right? Now, you can send something out and you've got hundreds of thousands of data points that tell you, this is my ideal customer, and this is what she wants. Right? Now, I need to listen and speak to her in that way. Make sure that she knows that I'm going to provide for her. So marketing, let's go
Right,
back
right,
to the
right.
definition, right? It is everything, your sales, your branding, your tactics of outreach.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to do that, get your brand out there,
Mm-hmm.
reach them, let them know who you are, let them know that you are the solution for whatever they're
Right,
looking for,
right.
and then do that in an efficient, profitable way.
Yeah.
That's what your CMO is charged with
Yeah.
As a company,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that the digital game, when digital came up, I think that was one of the biggest changes is now you're able to listen very easily, listen to your end user, listen to your customer,
Yes.
and then adjust your strategy accordingly.
Right.
Because you still got to do that. Let's say, okay, I've got 100,000 of my customers telling me, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you need this. I want this.
Yeah.
Well, my strategy doesn't say that.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna.
Not gonna do
I'm
it.
not gonna do that. Which I will. I will. You've got to be flexible.
Right.
And I mentioned earlier, so I'm kind of going against myself, that someone that stalwart, right, to stand the ground and maintain
Mm-hmm.
your strategy,
Mm-hmm.
right? But your strategy has to speak to your
Yes.
customer.
Yes.
If it doesn't, I mean, you're gone.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah. 100%. And I think I don't know how much this plays into it, but I do think going back to, like, you use Mad Men, going back not that far, but
Mhm.
even, to, what do you think, the 90s? What do you think the big shift was? 90s was the
Yeah, yeah.
digital?
So late '90s, and then again, the speed of the shift is
Mhm.
it's still shifting.
Right, right,
So
right.
you know that better
Yeah.
than I do even. But it started then, I think, late '90s, and I was in the workforce and getting my feet under me in my career at that time. So I did see, the early pieces of, how that was shifting.
Yeah.
Um, it was a massive shift, but it was also, compared to today's standards, gradual.
Right. Right.
Right.
Now
So
it's
so
all the
now
time.
you got to have it.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to have it. And not only that, but I think if you're winning out there in your industry, you are agile.
Mm.
Again, you're not shifting your entire
Right, right, right.
strategic focus,
Yeah.
but you're reading your customer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're able to make those tactics tweaks. This is something you're very good at. Look at your analytics
Mhm.
and adjust.
Yeah.
Now, your overall message shouldn't shift a ton unless your customer is shifting a ton,
Right.
right? And that's
Uh-huh.
part of your strategy. So that needs to stay the course with some guidelines, right? But knowing today versus tomorrow versus yesterday,
Yeah.
what are the tactics that are
Yeah.
hitting people? What's coming? If
Mhm.
you can predict that, I mean, you will be successful. And then how do you utilize it, right?
Yeah.
So again, we're shifting to tactics again. And that's what digital did. But digital in itself just brought a million different tactics, and new
Right.
ones are showing
Yes.
up, at least every couple of months.
Yes. Yeah.
So again, it's vital. We all
Yeah.
know it's vital,
It
and how you
is.
use it.
It is. And I think that probably going, like, back in the day, people a lot of times, you were telling people what they were lacking knowledge, so you were telling them what they needed to know. But now people have so much access to information.
Yes.
They sometimes that you need to still educate on what you do and things like that in different ways, but, like, people can get the knowledge. Now you're trying to earn their trust.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's very well said. Well, I think it's so a perfect example, right? Because there are certain areas where it's either brand awareness or product awareness,
Mhm.
right? So look at GLPs,
Yes.
right? So
You know a thing or two.
yeah, GLPs have been around for a long time, right? They
Yeah.
they were used with diabetes patients, right? And but then it was found that these meds also could lead to weight loss,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
In our country, that's a big want, right? And a big need, honestly. Well, at the beginning, people did not know, right, that these medications, these treatments were that,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
there was a massive undertaking, and you started seeing it absolutely everywhere, but a massive undertaking of letting everyone know. Now, what the key was then, which I don't know, what is this, 10 years ago? Less. The key is, okay, I'm telling you what this is. Ooh, this is awesome. That's something you want? Great.
Mhm. Mhm.
Here's my name. You want to be tied to that.
Right.
If you can be the early, not really an early adopter, but the early one to lend yourself to that brand awareness or that
Yeah.
product
Yeah.
awareness, it's really strong. Because look at some of the brands that are out there, and we don't even think GLPs necessarily. We think Ozempic,
Right.
Wegovy,
Right.
right? And now with compounders and such, now semaglutide, tirzepatide, and the upcoming
Yeah.
retatrutide, right? But I think early in a product life cycle, there is the awareness where you
Yeah.
got to get out there. It's like telling people what this is.
Right.
Hey, you may want this. Do you? Are you my customer?
Yeah.
Great. Then it goes exactly into what you said.
Yes.
Now, most people know what these things are. How can you tie yourself into it and then differentiate yourself with between the other brands,
Right.
right? And
Right.
reaching that customer.
Yeah. Well, it makes me think of Botox.
Mm.
People inject all injectables Botox. That's a brand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
Oh,
the
man,
same
that's
thing
right.
is true with
Yes.
Ozempic
Yes.
and
Yes.
everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
people might be like, "Is this Ozempic?" And technically, it's not. It's another brand or another whatever.
Right.
But like they just say Ozempic because that's what they know. Botox. I think that's so funny. Like everyone just says Botox.
Absolutely.
But there's
Yes.
other brands and everything
Yep.
like that. But they took over.
Oh
They
yeah,
took it.
absolutely, and kudos to them,
Yeah.
right, for doing so. But and this is another shift, right? So Daxify,
Mhm.
and it's I again, I'm not a doctor,
Yeah.
but the difference is a competitor, but it is the new Botox, right?
Okay.
And it replaces a certain piece with a peptide.
Okay.
Right. So
Interesting.
early studies are showing the product lasting longer,
Mhm.
lesser side effects, and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool. And that's just I'm learning these
Yeah.
things, being more in the compounding
Yeah.
world now. But I know it's already starting to be out there.
Well, so if you didn't
Yeah,
know,
yeah, Daxify,
look for that.
2X's.
Or look it up or something.
Yeah.
So what have you seen? I know I mentioned having post-COVID shifts. What are some of the biggest shifts that you've noticed in this new phase? Like what are some of the differences that you see before and after?
Yeah. I think obviously, you know, COVID drove us into a very digital centric. We weren't
Very.
already,
Yeah.
which we kind of were, but if we weren't already, it was even
Mhm.
more so.
Mhm.
Because what went away was what I have always considered the strongest and maybe most difficult parts of marketing would be your live
Yeah.
events,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
touch points, your personality,
Yeah.
being able to get there. Sales,
Mhm.
face-to-face sales,
Mhm.
right? So I think that took a big hit. So you saw, which there was already a great shift. You saw an even larger shift
Mhm.
into that.
Mhm.
You had a lot people's time a lot more because I think the average screen time went up like
That's
45% or something
crazy.
crazy
Crazy,
for
crazy.
like a 5 year
Yeah.
period,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we're just out of that.
Yeah.
So I saw that for sure, but where people were saying, and I probably said this at some points, like we'll never go back to that. You did see a rise back into some of those more personal touches,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Concierge medicine,
Yes.
white glove approach
Yeah.
to all these things. You saw that when we came out of it. And I think a lot of that's just due, if you're just thinking from a pure consumer standpoint, and let's face it, we live in a place that was probably less affected than most other parts
True.
of this country.
True.
But even for us, when we really had everything lifted and really got back out there, there was a shift of, well, now I want to do that, because what if I lose it again? What if I lose my ability to get out there? So I think marketers saw the same thing.
Mhm.
So you saw a surge, if you will, in some of these live events. As things really cleared up,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
saw that spike back up. And we didn't mention that earlier, but that is still a big piece,
Mhm.
depending on what type of product and services you offer.
Right.
Any kind of live events,
Yeah.
and really, in my opinion, you get your stickiest customers that way. Your
100%.
longest life.
100%. That you've been able to make an impression. Like on
Mhm.
the digital side, we talk about impressions.
Yep.
But whenever you have an in-person
Yes.
impression, it's much
It
stronger.
is. It
Yeah.
is. So I think you saw the shift and then the shift back, but it in my opinion, it will level back out,
Mhm.
right? And all we're going to continually deal with, what will never stop, is innovation,
Yeah.
right? So, and most of the innovations are going to be on the digital virtual side.
Right.
Um, probably because of the reach, the scalability,
Yeah.
right? The cost. So those are some of the things I saw, and just kind of predictions. It's not a huge prediction because I think we all kind of see what's happening. So,
Do you have any hot takes or predictions that you have like that you want to drop right now of like things that are you think are going to evolve or
oh,
come?
oh my gosh. I mean, the big keyword right now, especially if you're in the stock market, is AI.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
And it's not who has AI because everyone
Everyone
has
has it.
access to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How are you using it, right? And right now, what it already is a very efficient way to make things much more efficient. It's a
Mhm.
cost savings maneuver from a marketer standpoint.
Mhm.
And I am not an AI,
Right.
professional at all. I should be much better at it. But I think that's the big thing now. And again, if you watch the stock market at all, whereas we saw this big shift, again, let's look at the last 5 years. You had the cryptocurrencies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Now, your most valuable pieces are those that are front runners on the AI game,
Right.
right? And that can mean a million different things,
Right.
right?
Right.
The
Right.
the companies that are producing the processors that fuel the mining, data
Yeah.
mining, are worth absolute insane amounts of money. So
Right.
I think that will continue to evolve. Some people are afraid of that. I think it's right now it's who can use it the best, who
Mhm.
can turn that into, who can align it with their strategy, and then
Yes.
stay ahead of that game and see where
Wait,
it's
wait, wait.
going.
So AI is not supposed to give us our strategy?
Oh, is it? Is it? Oh, am I wrong? No, no, no. I, I think there's way too much reliance on
Yeah.
it for sure.
Yeah. Well, and so just because I know, like, basically, people owning businesses, running businesses, especially when it goes to their marketing, I think probably the first place that they go to AI for, first thing that they go to AI for is like content writing.
Hmm. Yep,
So
absolutely.
my tip with AI, whatever, if you want to use AI, great. Two things. Either train your AI in your branding, in your messaging, make sure the AI platform that you're using knows who you are really, really well. Like basically if it could predict what you were going to say. Or don't just copy and paste from AI because I
Oh wow.
promise you,
Yeah,
I can, if I am like, whether on a website or scrolling on social media, whatever, you can spot
absolutely.
AI content like messaging
Hmm.
so easily. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
First of all, either train your AI because it learns with you. It only
Absolutely. Hmm.
learns with the information you give it. Train it in how you want your brand to sound and who your brand is talking to, all of those things and or probably both. Don't just copy and paste. Like if it gets you started, change that. Do not leave it exactly as it is because some people will find it and be like, "Oh, that wasn't even them. It's AI." You know what I mean? It
Yes.
feels like you're hearing from a robot and not from
Yes.
the brand. You can tell whenever messaging is not consistent.
Yeah. And I would say, and you can still see it, right? And don't get me wrong, it will probably. I'm talking more about video content right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
That's pretty easy to find, but and don't get me wrong, it's getting a lot better. It's kind of crazy where it's come from, but I think you said it the best, and that's that it's not. It should not be your strategy
Yeah.
because you need to know your strategy,
Yeah.
right? And if so, now can it help you? And again, that's why I put it the way I did. Like, be more efficient.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Once it learns, and AI
Yeah.
learns,
Yeah.
yeah. Once it learns that the speech patterns, the all those kind of things, still be very cautious.
Right.
And we're not really that close to where we can just let it go and
Yeah.
do. It's not you,
No.
right?
It's not gonna be human. It's never gonna be human.
From a and that's from both a company standpoint,
Mhm.
from the client, from our client, and a marketer standpoint as
Mhm.
well, is be very cautious with that. Don't
Yeah.
let it shift
Yeah.
you because it's easy,
Yeah.
and it is. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
it's easy.
Mhm.
Um, Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure that you have a hand on it, um, because exactly what you alluded to, it changes, and it's not. I mean, we're still out there to where it's making a lot of mistakes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And remember where the information is coming from.
Right.
Now, you're saying teach it.
Yeah.
You can designate where that information comes from.
Mhm.
great. Do that.
Yeah.
Number one,
Yeah.
because that's what it's learning. And it should be you, right? So you can set it up to learn from your uh, depository of information.
Right.
So do that. But let me go back to where you started. It is not creating your strategy.
No.
It should not be creating your strategy. Now, can it give you some thinking points
Yes,
and adjustments
100%.
to that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. Like
Yeah.
you use it, you put it in there and you prompt a certain way. Well, a light bulb may come on.
Mhm.
Now, from there,
Mhm.
just be sure you're taking your own thoughts and going into that. Now, and again, I think the way AI needs to be used is from an efficiency standpoint,
Yes.
from a light bulb. I love
Yeah.
what it can do. And you can even, I mean, some formatting type stuff
Oh,
is cool.
formatting they make it super easy.
That's simple,
Yeah.
and I think you can trust it. You still got to check everything in there,
Yes.
but that's where I would be cautious. But
Yeah.
I don't. You can't avoid it. You
Right.
cannot avoid it.
Right. I think that it's great for giving different ideas. Now, I will say a lot of times I might be like, that's stupid. But like
Yeah.
it might also make you think about something differently or
hmm
give you ideas. Like, for example, even whenever I first was in concept of like, okay, I want to start a podcast. What
hmm
would this look like? What would what is the messaging? And so, I put in I put in a lot of information
Yeah.
of what I wanted, what it was supposed to be, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, I think it took about 100 and some suggestions for me to figure out exactly um the positioning, I guess I would say.
hmm
So it was like, okay, I liked even the title, the back office. I was just asking like what was some titles that you might think of with, this
Right.
this kind of content or whatever. It was sending me way out in left field. And so it was like, oh, I like that word and I like this word and I like this position of that and blending it all together. It gave me a
Yes.
lot before it gave me anything good.
Sure.
And
Sure.
and I think that as long as you're using it like this, um, it really will. You'll still be original. You'll still be yourself, and have your fingerprints on it. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, AI is not human, and your customers are human.
hmm
They want the human element, and only you as a human being can kind of relate to their pain points, the emotional things they might be going through in making whatever decision to, shop or buy or whatever. So you bring that human element into it, and it is not replaceable.
So two things there. One, people know, right? We already said this. They know when they're seeing, to this point, they know when they're seeing AI messaging. They know
Yeah.
when they're seeing, for sure, AI videos.
Yeah.
Um, and don't get me wrong, when a hippopotamus head starts on this side, and that's an easy one. But okay, so but think about it this way: people don't want that.
No.
And in fact, right now they're seeing it's like, oh, you're taking a shortcut.
Mhm.
Okay, same thing. A salesman, sales pitch comes out. I don't want to be sold to, and I've been in the game so long that as soon as I start feeling that sales piece, I'm checking out.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna try not to be rude.
Yeah. I kind of feel
Right?
bad for anybody trying to sell to you because you can spot it a mile away.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, that's not everyone. But if you've been around this type, I say this game, right?
Yeah.
But this all, let's just say marketing.
Yeah.
If you've been in it long enough, you've seen it. You've
Mhm.
seen what
Mhm.
people are trying to do. You see, and for me, it's like a game. I'm trying to beat them to the punchline. I'm trying
Yeah.
to, it's like, oh, I know where you're going with this. I got you. But people don't want that. So, even in face-to-face sales, people want someone that is not that. What's the opposite of that? They're genuine,
Yeah.
right? And they're having thoughts, and they are interested in you. This is the best salespeople I've ever seen. Don't sell,
Mhm.
right? They don't
Mhm.
sell. They
Mhm.
talk to you. They offer solutions, maybe,
Yeah.
but they're really trying to understand you and your business, right? And AI doesn't do that at all, and I don't know that it ever will. So, if we can mess up face to face, human to human, and see that AI doesn't have a chance in that.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. Not only if you're just a salesperson, right? Because hey, hear me, this is out there and it happens a lot. But as we're shifting more and more into the AI play, make sure that messaging is
Yeah.
not coming across that way.
Yeah.
Try to stay ahead of the game and see what's out there and look at yourself as a consumer. Second question, this is for you. So what are you seeing from, SEO has been a tactic for
Mhm.
ever, right? Where are you seeing the shift from an AEO, or it's called eight different things, but the optimization for AI engines, right?
Yeah.
Where are you seeing that? And kind of follow up there is the growth, the shift, and then the money spend.
Mhm.
Where
Mhm.
where are you seeing that now
Yeah.
compared to where it was? And then, is it gonna continue going that way, and how fast?
Yeah, I think so. I actually had someone recently ask the other day ask me to help them. They're like, we need to bulk up our Google page, SEO, and all this kind of stuff. And it kind of gives me some pause because not because it's useless. Like all of these tactics in your strategy are not useless, but some of them you might want to pump the brakes on because
Sure.
they might not be as effective. So really, Google took a major hit when they integrated AI into Google because everyone was trying so hard. I mean, they were paying a lot of money in, optimizing SEO, getting the top of Google. And then Google brought in AI where it doesn't matter if you're paying to be top of Google, their AI answer is going to go above you.
Yep.
And people, if they click in that, they're not going to click on yours. You might end up in Google's AI list,
Right.
but you see what I'm saying? I think that again, I'm not saying don't worry about Google. I'm saying maybe pump in my like if someone was asking me best strategy like you just did, I would say pump the brakes a little bit on Google, focus on reviews, which has never gone out of style, but
Right.
Google is relying much more on the Google reviews for their AI generation of results. So I would say that focus more on Google reviews. Again, don't only do Google reviews, but do Google reviews and making sure your website is super good on your SEO, all of the top hits
Right.
on that because that's how Google will besides being the top of the list, they're going to put you at the top of their list in their AI answer, which is what a lot of people it's not that people are trying to use Google AI more than anything else, but like that's the first thing that pops up.
Yep.
So they open it and they click on it and all that money that you're using on Google ad spend is I mean, depending on how you're doing it, you might not be wasting it because it's just not getting used.
Yep.
But if I think probably people in the last I think it's been like I don't know if it's been fully 2 years that Google really brought this in, but like I'm sure people saw your Google spending going way down, and it's because it threw a wrench in things whenever they
Yes.
first brought that out.
So that makes me think of two things. One, a lot of people have shifted,
Mhm.
and this is why this is a thing. Is so I'm still because I'm just looking for quick answers.
Yeah.
Now, if I want something a little bit deeper and it's something I want to think about, I will jump into Grok or any Claude, um, ChatGPT. But some people have replaced a simple Google search, which there's a purpose for this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's been a marketing purpose for a long, long time. Some people have replaced that with just jumping into a ChatGPT or something like that.
Yes, they have.
That's why
Yeah.
this is
Yep. Yep.
shifting the game. But something even more key as marketing as a whole that you were just explaining is your marketer, and this has to do with analytics and just staying in the game, has to understand where these different digital platforms, where they're how they're getting their data,
Yes.
what are they valuing, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, for those, I'm not necessarily that deep into it. You are,
Mhm.
right? So for those that are deep into it, gosh, it's an everyday thing that you've got to see where Meta has changed. What are they allowing? What are they not? What are they
Yeah.
valuing? Because it changes the impact and the efficiency of your marketing dollars.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
if your marketer is not on top of that, or your firm or whomever you're using, you're going to be behind. You will absolutely be behind. You've got to have someone that is just on top of it. And it's almost a full-time job, literally just staying on top of changes that these different platforms that are very powerful, by the way,
Mhm.
are,
Mhm.
are changing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You've
A
got to
hundred
have it. And
percent.
that's where that's a huge part of marketing. And I call it like analytics. but it's not really analytics. It's just paying attention to the game.
Yeah.
They're doing releases weekly. They're
Yes.
telling you things between
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
So you've got to be doing that. If you're not, gosh, pay someone to do it.
Yeah. Well, and they even Instagram just rolled out a new feature, which I haven't even messed with, but people might have started. If you went to your DMs and you're like, what is this cluster of pictures over in the bottom corner? It's a new feature. So yes, they're rolling them out all the
Yep,
time. See what keeps people on the app longer.
absolutely.
Okay, so what is one? We're gonna wrap up with these two quick questions. What is one marketing myth that you wish would disappear?
Oh gosh. Well, I think, well, I was going to bring back up the cutting and marketing spend, and that's not really a
That's good.
myth, but
Right.
that's just
Just reality.
it's a panic decision is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Marketing myth. Oh my gosh, you may stump me here.
Or one thing that you think a lot of, I mean, even if it's just people buy into.
We've talked to spoken about several of them. Print. Let's
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
print.
That's good.
So we have a very large conglomerate of companies in this town
Yeah.
that are doing hundreds of millions of direct mail pieces.
Yeah.
They're doing, and again, this depends on, your tactic mix depends on your product, your service, your brand, all those kind of things. But there are some that, I mentioned grocery. They're not going to go away from
Right.
the ad, the weekly
Right.
ad.
No, they're not.
They're not. Candidates, right? Political candidates.
Yep.
You're going to get a postcard.
Yep.
Forever.
Yep.
Right. That's not going to stop. I think understanding that, like maybe that myth of print going away is maybe partially debunked already by people that are in the game. But for the, layperson or your average, let's call them civilian, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, print's going away. We thought it was.
I think it's going to come back stronger.
I think the numbers are showing that.
Yeah.
The numbers are showing growth in that
Yeah.
sector. So, and I don't know if that's really a myth, but
No,
that's
but
what
I think
those two things.
it's a good hot take, and I think that it's something to look at the horizon because people
Hot take.
hot take.
I don't know why I
People
did that.
literally have written it off. I mean, completely written it off. And also, if you've seen the post op, like what it costs to do mailers, like the direct. If you've never looked at direct mailers, you might investigate it because it's very affordable.
Mhm.
Very affordable,
It-
and you get exactly to the people you want to get to.
Yes,
That's
it's
what's so
very
cool.
you can target very well with it.
Yes.
I think your messaging has to be strong, obviously,
Mhm.
and then what was another very strong part on the direct mail piece? But anyway, it is very reasonable from a
Yeah.
cost standpoint. That's what I was gonna say. You do have to differentiate to some extent because think about yourself,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
You check the mail, you're pulling out,
Yep.
boom, 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 boom. What is going to cause someone to either, oh, it sticks out, so I'm going to grab it because I don't know if that's really as big anymore, but it's a different size,
Mhm.
or that messaging, whatever is going to
Yeah.
differentiate you. You've got to have that because otherwise you've got like 1.5 seconds and
Yeah.
that thing's going in the trash.
Yeah. Well, and if you just want to try it one time, just don't do it.
Oh, no.
Just don't do it if you're only going to do it once
Mm-mm.
because it's consistency. Because if they see it every month, every couple of weeks, they're gonna start paying attention to it.
It's like
Yeah.
a billboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And here's my hot take on that topic. I think that B2C businesses, like local businesses that have a customer base, I think you need to just I think you should start trying some snail mail to your loyal customers because I think you're going to see people are going to be like personal touch. People are all about personal touch.
Yep.
And again, it might be different for your business, but by and large, when people feel like something was personalized for them, that they feel like they're VIP, they feel like
Absolutely.
they're in a different caliber of customer,
Mhm.
they're yours. They are your customer. Okay, last question.
All right.
What is
So-
one thing you believe about marketing all these years in the industry,
Mhm.
even more now than ever? Like you firmly believe about marketing?
It's human to human, and
Yes.
you really nailed this home. But I think it may be the strongest part here is the most successful marketers, in my opinion, are those that are able to look at themselves, not with closed doors, but look at themselves as the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your client? Who are you going after? Get in that mindset. I've seen some really strong brands that are just really capitalizing on this because they're standing really firm on that strategy. But they know their customer. If you know your customer and know how
Yeah.
they think,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of evolve that, if you know that, you got to be in that mindset.
Yes.
Everything you do, let me just put it this way. Any message, any touch point at all needs to speak to them like you're speaking directly.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to you right now.
Yeah.
If it's not, you're not going to be as efficient. You're not going to be as effective. And you could lose your way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best thing is like human to human. What do I say to you? If again, you got to think it, you got to put yourself in their head. What do they want? What do they need? Not what you're telling them, but what would benefit them.
Right.
If you can be a beneficial resource, whatever it is, a product, a service, whatever, if you can benefit them and really you're trying to help them, it's hard to fail.
Yeah, 100%.
Not impossible, but it's hard to fail. Yeah.
I could literally probably geek out on all of this stuff all day long, but I am gonna wrap this up because the sky's the limit on, I don't know, marketing is just fascinating to me. Obviously, that's why I do
It's
it.
big,
But
big
whatever,
topic.
whatever.
Yeah.
But for the people, if they want to connect with you online, if you want them to connect with you, where do you want them? Where can they find you online?
Oh gosh, a million different
You're
places.
a little harder to find than your wife.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. If this is really sad, guys. I'm a behind the scenes kind of guy, right? So,
but a lot of knowledge. So obviously, people might want to.
I am honestly trying to think of what my Instagram handle is. I don't.
I'm sure if you search Brad Buchert, you could find him.
Yeah.
If you search Ashley Buchert, you could definitely find him.
Yeah.
That's
a lot easier.
That's his wife, and I'm sure you could find him that way too.
Yeah, and then we have websites and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's BDB Hogs.
Yeah.
With a Z. Arkansas Razorbacks,
right.
Go Hogs.
Yeah.
It's pretty shameful that I didn't even know that.
It's all right. It's all right. Well, that is it for this session of the Back Office Strategy Session. If this conversation gave you clarity, a new angle, or even just a reminder that you're not the only one figuring this out, then it did its job. Take what's useful, apply it, move on it, because no one has it fully figured out, but we are building anyway. And if you found this episode valuable, share it with another operator who's also building. You can always hang out with us in between sessions at Signify Marketing Social. I'm Dalayna Dillon, and we'll see you next time.